Tonight, we bring you a story that will leave you in shock and disbelief. A scandal that has cost Kenyan taxpayers a staggering 6.6 billion shillings, all tied to a single deal, the edible oil importation scandal. This isn't just about numbers. This is about you, your money, and the rampant corruption that continues to rob the Kenyan people. Tonight, LifeLens TV unveils the hard truths behind this shocking tale. First, let's go back to the beginning. In 2022, the Kenyan government approved the importation of edible oil. The goal? To create a strategic reserve that would stabilize prices of essential household goods, something that could have offered relief to millions of Kenyans struggling with the rising cost of living. But instead, what we have is a mess of mismanagement, price inflation, and losses that are now being revealed. So how did it all go wrong? The Kenya National Trading Corporation, KNTC, was at the heart of this operation, tasked with importing billions of shillings worth of oil. But from the very start, red flags began to emerge. This Senate committee meeting on Tuesday gave us a glimpse into just how deep the rot goes. And trust me, it's worse than anyone thought. The committee heard that KNTC sold consignments of edible oil nearing expiry to a local firm. Even though this oil wasn't meant to be sold locally, it was supposed to be reshipped. Yet this oil is still here, in the country. And the losses? They started to pile up. So far, Kenyan taxpayers have lost a total of 6.6 billion shillings in this deal. A staggering amount. But let me walk you through exactly how this happened.
Is rejected.
According to KNTC's General Manager for Finance, Purity Kimanthi, much of the loss was attributed to currency fluctuations, warehousing fees, and clearance costs. Now I know what you're thinking. How could they lose that much money just from basic logistical issues? Well, the truth is that's just the start. They claimed that exchange rates fluctuated, and yes, we saw a shift in the dollar to Kenyan shilling exchange rate. At the time of purchase, the dollar was at 162 shillings, but when the consignment was sold, the rate had fallen to 133. But even with these fluctuations, the losses still don't add up. KNTC managed to sell 1.67 million jerrycans of this oil, generating around 5.9 billion shillings. But here's where things really start to unravel. 10,151 jerrycans were damaged during logistics. Another loss. And they're now chasing insurance claims to cover it. To make matters worse, they've racked up another 313 million shillings in outstanding payments for warehouse rent, storage, and agency fees. It doesn't stop there. KNTC also admitted to selling some of the oil at a loss. They sold it at 3,028 shillings per jerrycan instead of the standard 3,700. Do you know what that means? A loss of 540 million shillings. Just like that. No accountability, no clear explanation. It's a staggering failure of management. The Senate committee, chaired by Kajiado Senator Seki Lenku, pressed KNTC's leadership for answers. And let me tell you, the responses were anything but reassuring. When Senator Lenku asked about the 6.6 billion loss, KNTC admitted, yes, they had lost the money. But they blamed it on everything from exchange rates to warehousing. But it gets worse. Marsabit Senator Mohammed Shute brought up another bombshell. He pointed out that the original price for the oil was $23 per jerrycan. But somehow, by the time KNTC paid, the price had jumped to $30. That's an extra $7 per jerrycan, with no clear reason why. Do you know what that means? It means at least 2.5 billion shillings were overpaid. Money that should never have left the taxpayers' pockets. So, who's benefiting from this? Well, that's the question no one seems to have a clear answer to. Senator Shute also asked another critical question. With all these inflated costs and exchange rate losses, who's going to bear the burden? You guessed it, us, the Kenyan people, the ones this deal was supposed to help. Meanwhile, the overpaid suppliers haven't returned a single shilling. One supplier, Multi-Commerce, owes over $6.8 million. Another, Charma Holdings, owes $3.7 million. Yet, to this day, no refund has been made. How did KNTC respond? Well, they claim they've been engaging these suppliers trying to get the money back, and if they don't, Then they say they'll seek higher authorities for help and, as a last resort, take legal action. But for now, the money remains unpaid and Kenyans are left with the bill. But perhaps the most outrageous part of this entire scandal is the procurement process itself. KNTC procured the oil in US dollars from local firms. Let that sink in. Local companies being paid in dollars, not Kenyan shillings. This decision alone cost Kenyans billions, thanks to exchange rate fluctuations. Even KNTC's own board has admitted that this should never have happened. The board chair, Hussein Dabasso, told the committee that in the future all procurements would be done in Kenyan shillings. But the damage has already been done. So, who's responsible for this mess? KNTC's leadership seems to be playing the blame game. Peter Njoroge, the current acting managing director, pointed the finger at his predecessor, Pamela Mutua, claiming she was the one who changed the prices. But regardless of who's to blame, the losses are real, and they're staggering. Take the case of a consignment sold to EnviroPro Kenya Limited. Nearly 800,000 jerrycans of oil sold at a loss. The official explanation? KNTC says they were struggling with taxes and storage costs, so they offloaded the oil cheaply. But where did the money go? And why was this oil not cleared properly in the first place? At the end of the day, it's the Kenyan people who are paying for this. Nominated Senator Esther Okanyuri said it best when she called this scandal a slap in the face of hustlers. This was meant to cushion Kenyans against the rising cost of living, and instead, it's left us with billions in losses, unanswered questions, and a brewing storm of accountability issues. As we continue to investigate this scandal, it's clear that there's more beneath the surface. How could billions disappear without anyone raising alarms sooner? Why did no one stop the overpayments, the damaged consignments, and the fraudulent price hikes? The truth is, this isn't just about bad management. It's about corruption, negligence, and a lack of accountability that has left us all footing the bill. This isn't the end of this story. At LifeLens TV, we will keep digging, asking the tough questions and bringing you the truth, because in the end, accountability isn't just a word, it's a responsibility, and we, the people, deserve answers. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for more updates on this developing story only on LifeLens TV.